It's Chainsaw Tuesday, the series where I yap about Chainsaw Man. This week was a chapter that ended before it even began, but we did get a couple of highly notable outcomes of this chapter and the tease of something even more insane coming in the next chapters. So let's dive into the madness that was chapter 214 of Chainsaw Man and break down and analyze all of that aftermath. So, Pookies. This chapter picks up directly after 213, where we see emerging from the rubble of the school building that was blown up by Yoshida, Denji. I love this initial shot of Denji emerging from that charred husk of that building. I cannot wait to see how Mappa does this shot because, oh my god, it was so badass. But, I mean, we shall see. Also, Jesus Christ, Denji was pierced through the chest by some of this debris, and it looks painful. We see this amazing facial expression. I mean, honestly, just some of the best facial expressions from Denji in this chapter, who is just, I get the sense, just beholden to this chaos all around him with eyes that should, by this point, look all too familiar. Denji seems to be disassociating or coming to grasp with the shock of everything he has just went through. I mean, I want to analyze this because I realized something. Both Asa and Denji do sort of have this kind of the same 1,000-yard stare when they disassociate or experience something that is deeply traumatic to them. Something I just realized, because I think we've seen that much more out of Asa Mitaka, fun name to say, than we do with Denji, just because, to be frank, I think we've seen a little bit more of Asa than Denji in part 2. I think this also shows the kind of impact this has on Denji in that it seems all of this chaos is starting to build up and engulf him, and this was the last straw, the one that broke Denji's back. Because there he sees Yoshida impaled by debris, rebar, concrete chunks. I mean, this is some seriously disturbing imagery, one you'd see in a war zone, not within the confines of a place as peaceful as a school is supposed to be. Also, Yoshida, seriously, may be dead because nobody ever comes back from the dreaded rebar through the torso. Nobody. And as Denji stares absently, slack-jawed at the motionless body of Yoshida, the absolute worst man in existence, Barem, climbs in and blasts Yoshida with probably something like napalm or the collective and distilled hatred for this man from the entire community who has not only taken, allegedly, the life of Nayuta, and now the Twink. Kill this man. Kill him dead! But I will say, the imagery of the flamethrower fiend climbing through the window with a freaking flamethrower was an insane visual. Also, did Fujimoto make a mistake by not drawing the hands or by making the grip too big to draw hands here? I mean, honestly, if I think he should have just went full yaoi hands with Barem, if that's the case, because that would be hilarious. Just make me fucking hate him more, please. And the worst part about this entire chapter is that the grin he gives to Denji as if he just made the most amazing joke. So of course, Denji gives him this blank look. And at this point, I think we all knew that the Black Chainsaw Man would be coming out because Yoshida genuinely seemed to share a close and human moment with Denji, and he was betrayed by public safety. And that is an important note to keep note of, my friends. We'll talk about that, or at least why I think that is, in a moment. Barem then says that both he and Yoshida drew the short straw, which to me means like this entire thing was meticulously planned out, and I'll explain why. All of this is just so very convenient. Yoshida shows up on the behalf of public safety to do his job and kill himself, setting off an explosion. This explosion happens right in front of Denji. I mean, what do we think those motives are? Well, I think we're about to see why, of course. But Barem saying that they both drew the shortest straw gives me the idea that public safety chose them out of a bunch of people that were the most expendable. And it makes sense narratively. Yoshida has served his purpose as Fumiko is now like her own entity and doesn't need to be associated with anyone any further. I mean, Barem killed Nayuta, so what else is there? Denji, for the most part, recovered as much as he could from Nayuta's death, whatever that is worth. So what else would he be needed for than to use his abilities to burn away Yoshida, getting rid of any opportunity for him to recover, that is, if he has an ability. But doing so, they know this would in some way risk awakening Denji's Black Chainsaw Man form, which is absolutely a target for them. So send Barem, clean up the mess. Hope he cleans up Chainsaw Man too, and if he doesn't, then I guess you don't lose too much. You just lose a twink employee and a flamethrower idiot. But that is kind of the potential flawed reasoning from public safety here, as we'll jump into here in just a momento. Black Chainsaw Man comes out and eats Barem. Very agonizing death for him, begging him to at least kill him first. Joking aside, this is yet another tip-off that public safety knew he was going to probably die, and even Barem knew himself once again. He just drew the shortest straw, right? So we get maybe one of the best moments in part 2 just for what it symbolizes to fans of Nayuta, which is me. Barem is dead. And not only is he dead, but the very concept of the flamethrower has been erased. Screw him. Screw him. I hope he dies in death. More. This leads us to an interesting moment in which Fammy and Little D make the observation that, to them, Chainsaw Man seems to understand how dangerous the incoming devil is, which very well could be true. But I don't want to jump into what the devil is right away. But this comment was peculiar to me, because in my mind, when I read this, I didn't think, oh, well, Denji didn't realize anything there. I mean, I think he is simply acting on instinct or revenge. But I do think it's slightly different this time. I don't think he will be mindless in the Black Chainsaw Man form, or like in this fit of rage. I think he has gotten to the point in the series where every little thing that is done to Denji sorta chips away at something internally here. This moment really felt like that to me. But anyways, carrying on. I think Death and Fammy are also overestimating the motivations for why he did this. I think there's two explanations here. I think he ate Barem because he had a genuine moment with Yoshida and actually saw Yoshida by the end of his life as a valuable friend to him, or at least someone he cherished. He actually cared about Yoshida, and it broke his heart in a similar way that Nayuta dying broke him. Maybe he just didn't want Yoshida to die, and in his final moments heard and understood the words and the sentiment and meaning behind what Yoshida did, despite literally being there to kill him. Now, with that being said, there is another way to interpret this, which I am aware of. This is Barem, the guy who killed Nayuta. So Denji could be thinking nothing of Yoshida and just sees him as someone who betrayed him. He doesn't care. He has no feelings for him one way or the other. He tried to kill him. So the reason he turned into Black Chainsaw Man very well could just be his hatred for the man who took his family away from him. After all, on top of Nayuta, he did kill the dogs and Meowie as well, so either are viable, to be fair. And honestly, both could be to some extent. But the big moment, the chapter ends with a tease of the return of the Darkness Devil. I loved the reactions and the art in this moment because it was, oh God, it was so good. It was so good. Fammy looking like she's about to break down. Normal for her, right? But look at little D, you guys. That's the look of shock upon her face. And we know D doesn't often show expressions of any kind, if ever. I mean, she's the Meep Meep elbow girl, right? So, what does this mean? Well, we're going up against the Darkness Devil, and for now, it seems Fammy and D believe Denji is on their side and will carry out the extinction of mankind, if Fumiko was telling the truth in the first place. But this is our first chance to see just what the world of devils is like after Yoru has essentially become the de facto, I guess you could just say, like, the king of hell due to, nuclear weapons being reinvented. So, who is on whose side? Is the Darkness Devil a foe? If so, then what are the motivations now as a collection? And, I guess, the individual. I'm actually really hyped for next week's chapter because it should be pretty awesome. It should be absolutely stellar. Blade. Plus, when was the last time we saw the Darkness Devil? I don't know. I'm really hyped for next chapter. Actually, I'm hyped for this entire next arc. Darkness Devil is freaking awesome. I also think, even after this chapter and the events we saw go down, I think the verdict is still strongly out on what side Denji has chosen. Because until I hear it from read it from his lips, and read it from his speech bubble, and I see what it looks like, I am still under the impression Denji is just fighting for his life and doing what he usually does. I think it is much too early for me to declare if Denji has chosen the side of Lil D and to kill Yoru and kill Asa. It's not Asa over yet, boys. But for those who said Chainsaw Man would end in 2 months, where are you now? Still reading, probably. So, hey, how you doing? Just goes to show we don't know one way or the other what Fujimoto has planned, even me, other than the man himself. But let's be real, humans can't levitate, so he is absolutely an alien, and he absolutely needs about tree fitty, and he's cooking up something very alien-like, I would assume. All right, everyone, do a dance. Bi-Weekly Devil has been sealed like Gojo, and, well, just as effectively, so we'll be seeing this bitch ass soon. Again, I'm sure of that, but this was an awesome chapter. Can't wait for next week. Hey, so click this video if you want more of me. Join my Discord as well if you want more of me. We're a very vibrant bunch of dorks. If you made it to the outro here, then drop a handful of cookies in the comments below and make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.